Introduction to the Computer Network. Network Structure. LAN Case. I'm an instructor of East University. I'm Wang Shan-Yang, an instructor at the Department of Computer Science and Information Engineering. I want to demonstrate a computer network to you. This computer network can help everybody learn more about our course and what knowledge we'll learn. First of all, let's describe the scene. This is an area network. We are in the office now. This is the network structure. Well, this is another LAN. It's also an office LAN architecture. What is the difference? On the right side, these devices are at the Type A branch office. He works in a company in Type A. And these are at the Tainan branch office. Then we need to design such a network structure so that you can connect these computers between Type A and Tainan. You can connect to the computer in Type A. That can achieve the purpose of network connection. In this course, what we will teach you is we will teach you how to plan such a network structure. This network structure includes routers. This is the router, and this device is the Ether switch. Ethernet switch. There's also a hub, not here. Hubs used to be cheap. Ether switch was expensive. But nowadays, Ethernet switch is cheaper than before. Actually, they are very cheap, so we use Ether switches instead of hubs. A computer network connection includes a source and a destination. Must pass through the source. The source is assumed to be this computer. Well, through the links. It connects to the Internet switch, which is the equipment above. This is the equipment you can see above. The Ethernet switch connects to the router below. He will also connect through the Internet, then connect to the router below. And then, the router connects the other router through the WAN, which is the middle line. It's the middle line. In fact, this line is a symbol. The middle part is telecommunication. The Telecommunications Bureau is responsible for the ISP company. Then, the packets from the source were sent to the Ethernet switch and to the router. From our source, then, cables, by connecting to the Ethernet switch. Then connect to the router. And from the router, through the Telecom Bureau ISP company, all the way to the branch office in Type A. To the router in Type A. And then the packets were sent to the Ethernet switch. Then to this computer. Then, after this computer processes the data, also replied packets were sent back to the Tainan office. It is similar. No, these two paths are not necessarily the same pathways. The packets were sent to the Ethernet switch, to the router, and then through the ISP company to the Telecommunications Bureau, and then to the router in Tainan, and then to the Ethernet switch in Tainan, and then to the source computer. That completes the purpose of connecting. This network structure seems very simple. It looks very simple. And all the world's networks are the same infrastructure. Basically, that's how it's been duplicated. So we just need to learn how to plan such an infrastructure system. We have the ability to plan worldwide computer network structures. This is the knowledge and content to be learned in this course. End of this unit. Overall network structure, LAN and WAN. On this topic, we want to introduce you to LAN and WAN. Okay, let's take a look. What about the Internet all over the world? The main part of these devices includes the router, the Ethernet switch, and the equipment you use to form the world networks. What is the most important piece of equipment? This is the router. Router. Then, let's take a look. The router is a very important device. It connects LANs from different areas. There is the cable. This is the LAN. Link to this section. LAN. LAN is a short-distance network. It usually operates in a small scope. What about the LAN? Its speed is fast, and the error rate is low. In addition, packets usually go through router, through this WAN, wide area network, to another place. What about the WAN? WAN's distance is quite long. It even talked about comparison. What about the farthest WAN? Between Earth and the spaceships. It is the distance to the outer space. Satellite from Earth. That is also a kind of wide area network. Then what about these networks? It is divided into LAN and WAN. Then, of course, students or people. What about the students? They can find the metropolitan network or other networks on books. That doesn't matter. Let's first understand the characteristics of LAN and WAN. It is enough. Then, to put it simply, let's take a look at this router. Actually, you can look at it. We can think of it as a computer with many network cards on it. With many network cards on it. What about this router? It is the LAN card here. There is also the WAN network card here. The LAN card and the WAN card are different. Actually, are different. They are different transmission media. So look at it. The connector types are also different. There is a very important concept. LAN has its own devices. Devices of the LAN include Ethernet switches and hubs. WAN also has its own devices, then the WAN card, then other cards. What about other WAN devices? Generally speaking, they are in the ISP company of the Telecommunications Bureau. Well, we seldom get to know more. Then, let's look at the basic elements of network operation. In fact, it includes servers and personal computers. Then we can make the servers and personal computers and other devices used in the network. Even mobile phones or Internet of Things devices connected together. How can they be connected? It is necessary to have a physical network. These are physical networks. The prerequisite to a normal network is that computers can successfully connect to the network devices through physical connections. In addition to this, a very important one is IP address. IP assignment. The IP and network devices will be introduced in our course. End of this unit. Basic elements of network operation. So let's take a look at the topics of this section. It includes how to connect the network devices, planning and connecting network equipment. After we have the ability to make plans to connect the network equipment, then we need to be able to assign its IP correctly. For each device, we need to give it an IP address. What function is an IP address? We haven't learned IP yet. In fact, an IP address is just an identifier. The devices can be located in the networks. When you want to send data to a device, you can find it. And besides this, we need to learn more. How these network devices work. What about the key points of advanced learning? It contains how the packets can be sent from the computers to Ethernet switches and to routers, and how routers send packets to destinations. This is one topic. Another topic is OSI model, Open System Interconnection Model. The operation of OSI 7-layer is very important. That is also the focus of our course. It will build a conceptual model of the network. In the future, if there are new network technologies, they will follow the rules of the OSI model. We will introduce the OSI model in this course, so we can look at the picture on the right. It shows a router. This is the equipment. Then the router connects to the Internet through WAN. In your local area network, there is an Ethernet switch. Nowadays, Ethernet switches probably already are increasingly popular. They used to be very expensive, but they are cheap now. So what about the hub below? The hub's price is actually very cheap, but the Ethernet switch is also cheap. Therefore, the hub is less used. In this figure, Ethernet switches connect many personal computers as a computer network. Then, after the connection is completed, we will also assign each device an IP address. Then, you can see the picture on the right. And this is a complete network structure. End of this unit. Overall network structure. LAN equipment. There is a router in this LAN. This is the router. Students can see the slide. The slide shows that this is the router on the right. The network cards are on the router. Most of them can be swapped. Network information cards on small routers are fixed. Network information cards on medium-sized or large-sized routers can be swapped. You can see the network cards on this slide. Then, the following device is the Ethernet switch. This is the Ethernet switch. Ethernet switch. Each device has its own function. There's a hub down there. There's no hub in this real lab. But the slide shows a hub. A hub is similar to an Ethernet switch. What about the computer? Each computer will have a network card, right here. The network card of our computer is here. End of this unit. Overall network structure, logical and physical network topology. Now I want to talk about physical and logical network topology. Look at this picture on the right. This is a router, Ethernet switch, hub. It marks out all the equipment and marks their IP. This is the physical topology. What is the function of physical topology? When we need to maintain a network and plan the network and install network equipment, we will consider physical topology. However, when we are planning a large network, we don't consider physical topology first. We think of the network topology on the left side. What is the network topology on the left side? Let's take a look first. Under this, there is an Ethernet network. It uses a horizontal line to represent the Internet. The horizontal line on the topology is the Ethernet. You can see from the physical topology on the right, or from our equipment. You may wonder if the Ethernet network is a tree topology. But actually, the way it works as the bus topology, it's equivalent to saying that everyone is strung together. We will introduce it later. So, we usually use a line to represent an Ethernet network, like this. End of the course. Thank you for watching.